Alright, it's Jay today and Gwen tomorrow. And this is the sign we got here before we board the train. I'm not sure if that's actually the train, or maybe it is because the other one already went up. So So this is train 2 over here. This isn't the one we're taking up. Our train is going to be track 1, and it's on our way. It's on our way down. All right, so I got to go scan my ticket. So
I forgot to send awfully close.
all right, so waiting for the COG to go up. We are at, well, 5 more minutes. It should be leaving to make its way up. And so now we're in 10 minutes. And should be kind of fun, even though we're sitting backwards.
I was waiting for you to say that. That was coming.
So, wow. So,
Very sunshiny.
a little over a month. We're moving, going up to Pikes Peak. So,
See, we do get a front view after all. I mean, you just have to watch it later.
I am not very happy. I need to pay attention to the tickets that I buy from that. Whoa, sun's great. I'm glad I got sunglasses on. Somewhat.
They're kind of smeary on the line.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And we are taking off. At this speed, we'll be there half the time. 30 minutes to get up there now. Just know when you purchase these tickets for the COG that you make sure that you're not sitting backwards on the way up. I should have did a little bit more research. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little disappointed, but
You will live.
yeah. Next time. What right?
Alright, hold on. I have half you looking one way and half you looking the other way. That's not going to work out in this situation, is it? So if I refer to this side of the train as a 3-seat side, and then this side of the train as a 2-seat side, I believe that'll work. Alright, well, perhaps maybe you might have noticed some of them large boulders out there on the 2-seat side. Those are known as Pikes Peak granite. Except this granite is mica, feldspar, and quartz. You're going to see some unusual shapes and sizes along the tracks today. What makes this happen is a simple process called ice wedging. Basically, all ice wedging really is when water seeps into the cracks, crevices of these rocks, and when it freezes, it expands, and that's what's going to break apart the rock to give us some unusual shapes and sizes. So coming up on the 2 feet side is a singular rock formation that kind of sort of looks like a diamond. So we went ahead and named this one Diamond Rock. Spoiler alert, it's going to be right up after this large boulder on the 2 feet side. Look down between the rocks, not up in there.
Oh, yeah.
There she is.
That was the coolest rock I've seen all
There
day.
she is, cute.
Thank you.
Our rocks are very precious to us here in the Pikes Peak region, so please, don't take them for granted. Oh, I'm just getting started.
What is going on?
When you pack your backpack, it's so full
Too
that,
full.
yeah, that you can't get water.
So this part of the mountain is known as the Engelman's Canyon. And reading on the history of the COG Railway, they say that making the grade right here in the Engelman's Canyon is it was the hardest grade to make out of all the grades there was all the way up to the summit. Even though this is not the steepest grade, they said it was the hardest. And I can see why though, with all these large boulders around here, it probably took more than 1 or 2 sticks of dynamite to get through them. Alright, so coming up on our 2 seat side is going to be our first fall of the day. This fall is named after a couple of ladies that lived up here in the early 1800s by the name of Rose and Emma. So we went ahead and named it Rose and Emma Falls.
Where?
Listen intently, you should be able to hear them as we approach them. And if you happen to be looking up in the mountainside, you might see a rock formation that kind of looks like Santa's sleigh. Look down, because that's where Rose and Emma Falls is going to be down by the track.
Oh, right there. Look, have you seen that?
I can hear him now.
That is cool. Second waterfall.
Rose and Emma Falls.
8, yeah.
I bet you're feeling a little left out on the 3 seat side, aren't you? A little bit. Not to worry though, get your cameras up for this one. This is going to be a real Kodak moment. So coming up on our 3 seat side is our second fall for the day. These falls are actually higher than Niagara Falls.
That's cool.
Once again, don't look up. Look
Oh my God, right there, right
Name
there.
of these falls, they're called Minnehaha Falls.
Just like in Minnesota.
Alright, I know what you're thinking. I didn't say it was taller than Niagara Falls. I said it was higher than Niagara Falls.
Oh, that's a
Higher
good
in
one.
elevation, that is.
That's a good one.
Tricky.
Minnehaha is actually the Lakota term for dancing waters. And thanks to the University of Nebraska in the late 1800s, they actually set up a laboratory out here right above Minnehaha Falls. And they was experimenting with the different species of trees and plants that can grow
Look at
at
that
higher
tree.
elevation.
Holy cow.
So thanks to the University of Nebraska, well, we have some Japanese elms, we have some suns and asbury trees, we have a whole slew of different types of spruce trees. I could go on and on with just the different species of trees and types there are around there. Down there by the creek down there. That creek down there is known as Ruxton Creek, by the way. We do have one main track that goes up to the Summit of Pikes Peak, but you might see some extra tracks along the way. We like to call these extra tracks sidings. So it's these sidings that allows us to run multiple trains throughout the day up and down the mountain here. So whenever 2 trains are scheduled to pass each other up, we like to call that a meeting of trains for all you bombers with us today.
part of Texas?
He grew up in Texas.
Well, it's in us. It's south of Dallas. Where he walks on the G.
Okay.
Where are you from?
Brian, you familiar with Bryan College Station? Where
Yes.
I lived in Avasota. So about 26 miles from there.
Okay.
Then I joined the Army. Then I had to travel the world.
Yeah. Still hot down there, you know. So.
Oh, I can only imagine. We were there last year.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
literally
I've
thought
never been.
Texas was like all
I'd always
tumbleweed
tease
and
him.
desert. I'm like, no, that's
End
West
of
Texas.
tumbleweeds and
Yeah.
dirt.
Love it.
Level land.
Yeah.
Amarillo.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We go back start heading back next Friday.
But we've been filming different areas or whatever, and like, let's take a week out and go to Colorado.
Last week,
We were just in St. Louis, Missouri, just 2 weeks ago.
Very
To the arch
large.
and did all kinds of cool things with the lighting and everything.
Prop it up with 3 smaller rocks
We'll get it
in
in
place.
right away.
So coming up on our 2-seat side is a rock formation that we like to call prop rock.
Yeah, we do.
Not to be confused with pop rock.
What's that?
That's
Yeah, we'll just
prop
trade
rock.
it in by a new one and head on. Almost did that in Florida one time. My Infinity.
Dispatch, this is train 16, moving on over many
Oh, there it is. I think we'll be safe for today.
The tree stuff.
And my family was a little bit.
And for all of you observers over here on the 3C side, you might have to know some rock formations up there at the ridge. Up there, those are respectively named after biblical cities from the Bible called Gog and Magog. So if you're a hiker, well, they have the Magog hiking trail, Green Hill Trail, that will take you up to the rock formation if you're into that sort of thing. And if you happen to notice on that deadfall over there on the side of the part of the mountain over there, that was done in the late 1990s. We had a pine beetle infestation, so it was infested by a bunch of pine beetles. The only way you can really kill those off is you gotta freeze them to death or you gotta burn them out. We're not going to start a forest fire to do that. So we got lucky though, because this was going for about 3 months late summer. They showed up somehow, some way, and they started eating on the forest fires. These pine beetles are very destructive. They are known to decimate forests within months. If we would have got an early freeze that year, that week, when that happened, they would have everything you see around here would have been decimated. It would have been all deadfall. So we got lucky when So coming up on our 3-seat side though, once upon a time, long time ago, there used to be a one room for a trapper cabin. So all the hikers come through in the COG Railway, they turned this one room for a trapper cabin into a 22-room grand hotel. They named it Halfway House Hotel. It came with the banquet hall, post office, railroad station.
Lots of glare though.
You're getting the glare.
I know. I said, yay for editing afterwards.
Building and construction of the COG Railway. I do actually have a old black and white photograph of what that halfway house hotel looked like. So I'm going to be sending it up and down the train here so you can take a look at it. Take a look at it and please do me a favor and just pass it up to your neighbors kindly for me. Thank you. Changes, very better. Alright. I have to keep that in mind when I'm talking. So, did you guys hear about the halfway house hotel? Huh? Okay. I'm sending a black and white photo of what that halfway house hotel looked like. It burned down in 1926. So just pass it around to your neighbors, would you for me, please?
There's a waterfall right there.
Our last fall today is known as Pipe Falls.
And we just passed it.
I guess the real question to be answered though is where's this pipe coming from? So in 1906, the city of Colorado Springs decided to build a hydroelectric plant up there. It is the oldest working hydroelectric plant west of the Mississippi. Still powers up about 200 homes in Manitou. This white building that we're passing up right now, that's the old caretaker's house. In fact, Whatever remains was left of that halfway house hotel was used as part of their foundation right there. This is known as Ruxton Park. Right now, population of 0.
What is the elevation?
Might have happened to notice that dirt road out there on the 3-seat side. So the city of Colorado Springs was kind enough to build a 60-mile private drive. Yes, I said 60. A 60-mile private drive for the caretakers and their family down back at Ruxton Park. In fact, I heard school started last week for the kiddos. They're now getting back from their first day. Yeah! Cool. It's a long walk. Is there anyone here from the great state of Delaware? Any Delawareans on board? No? Well, the reason why I asked this is because right now we're right smack in the middle of Pike National Forest, which is about 1.4 million acres. You can actually wiggle the state of Delaware right here in the middle of this national forest with us.
Wow.
But some of the critters I like to run around here at Pike National Forest, well, that'll be the black bear, the moose, the mountain lion, mule deer, elk, foxes, rabbits, skunks, porcupines, raccoons, wild turkeys, and the mighty golden eagle likes to soar high above these skies once in a great while here in Pike National Forest. I've actually seen all those animals I just named off here on this train ride except for the mountain lion. The mountain lion has been the only elusive creature I haven't seen yet. Well, besides the Bigfoot and the Yeti and the Sasquatch. So if you see any of those, please point them out to us. Hey, put your hand down up there, car number 1. I see pointing at my engineer up there. She's not a Sasquatch. I got your back, Em. Don't worry about it.
It'd be cool if you were. See the snow up there, Ray?
Well, you might happen to notice some of these clearings around here with no trees. So the state of Colorado, they like to call those a park. You might have happened to notice a 25-cent sales tax on your tickets for any wildlife viewing in any state park. So if you happen to see a deer with antlers on it, well, that'll be a buck. You might happen to notice some of these trees already been cut down and cleared out, and some other trees still have some pink and blue ribbons tied around them. That is all part of the Bureau of Land Management Fire Mitigation. They're coming through and clearing out some of these trees just in case we have a forest fire around here. We haven't had a forest fire for over 100 years, so they're anticipating we're due for one, but hopefully, knock on wood, that don't happen. So coming up on our 2C side is a little park known as Deer Park, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled. There may be deer about. I can't promise you there will be, but what I can promise you, if you take a look far back there, not too far back, but at those cinnamon colored looking trees back there, those are known as ponderosa pine trees. It takes about 80 years for those to mature and turn that color. If you're a tree hugger, go up and give one of those trees a hug. You might smell a faint smell of a butterscotch or a vanilla smell to them. You might happen to notice some of these light colored trees around here as well, especially on the 3-seat side. Those are known as aspen trees. They like to grow in groves. In fact, they're the largest living organism here in the United States. But what makes these aspen trees so special, especially here in Colorado, about 9 months ago, they reached what we refer to as the peak of the season. That means they turn the beautiful golden yellows and reds and oranges maybe you've seen on a postcard or on TV. Can anyone tell me the difference between a dogwood tree and any other tree?
Is it bark?
That's right, they're bark. So we do have 2 main hiking trails that go up to the summit of Pikes Peak. One actually starts on the other side of the parking lot down there by the COG Railway. It's known as the Bar Trail. That's a 13-mile hike up to the top. It takes the average hiker 8 to 10 hours to get to the top from there. At mile number 6, though, they actually have a campground. It's known as the Bar Camp. So during the summertime months, you can reserve a tent and go camping up there, or just bring up your own tent and go camping yourself. But either way, there's going to be a section crew that works up there all year around, and they'll be glad to make you a dinner or breakfast. I hear they like to make spaghetti for dinner and flapjacks for breakfast. And then the other trail is known as the Craig's Trail. It starts on the northwestern part of the mountain, on the other side of the mountain over there. It takes the average hiker 5 to 6 hours to get to the top from there, but they say that the Craig's Trail is much, much more steeper than the Bar Trail is. So every year we actually host the annual Pikes Peak Marathon and Ascent. And so last year, a 30-year-old record was broken by a Swiss runner. His name was Remy Bonnet. So the new time to beat now up to the top is 2 hours, 21 seconds. Pretty fast. If I'm actually doing my math correctly here, it takes this train to go up there in an hour. He's running up there in 2 hours. That means he's running about half as fast as this train is going right now all the way to the top. That's insane. So if you're a hiker or you're a runner, well, there you go. You got your work cut out for you there. Is there anyone here from the great state of Wisconsin? Anybody from Wisconsin? Oh, I see your hand. Welcome aboard. The reason why I asked is because the original founder and owner was from Kenosha, Wisconsin. His name was Zama Simmons. He was an inventor. He was actually out here checking out the telegraph line because he had invented this installation that went around this telegraph line. And when he came back off of the summit on a burro, he thought it was the most uncivilized thing he had ever done. So he went back home and gathered a group of investors and came back out here and bought up all the land you see around here for about $1.5 million. It wasn't until June the 30th, the year 1891 though, that the first passenger train actually summited the top of Pikes Peak. Sir, is everything okay? Okay. So in June the 30th, 1891, the first passenger train summited the top of Pikes Peak for the first time. Can anyone guess how much a ticket price cost back then? 25 cents? No. $1? No.
Speck of gold or silver.
A nickel 5? No, 5 cents. It was a whopping $5. That was a whole week's worth of wages back then. And today's change is about 170 bucks. We've been going strong ever since. It wasn't until 2017 though we actually had to shut down the COG Railway. The Anschutz Corporation, who bought the Broadmoor, who owns the COG Railway, pumped over $100 million to revamp and overhaul the entire COG Railway system. We reopened in 2021 and we've been going strong ever since. Not quite sure who Zama Simmons was. You might be familiar with Simmons Beauty Rest Mattress. He created that as well. On the 3C side, we're passing up one of our old train cars. We just slapped the roof on it and use it as a storage shed now. How would you like to be riding up in that thing today? It's a little chilly to me. In that overhaul, we're actually riding up today one of the new trains they purchased in that overhaul. We even have heaters today. We're modern. So in 1806, an Army lieutenant by the name of Zebulon Montgomery Pike, he was commissioned to come out here and explore the southern boundaries of a recently purchased land deal that we had just made with France. That was all part of the Louisiana Purchase deal. And so when he got out here with his regiment, Pike did, and he seen the peak, he immediately tried to climb it. Being that it was already in the middle of November, he only made it to the foothills here before he had to turn around and go back. It wasn't until 1820 though, a gentleman by the name of Edwin James actually summited the top of Pikes Peak for the first time. It was known as James Peak for a while. Before that, it was known as El Capitan by the Spanish conquistadors. And the Ute Nation used to reside here. They used to call it Taba Mountain, meaning Sunshine Mountain or Sun Mountain. And I'm pretty sure it had plenty of other names before that by the Clovis generation. But it was Pike who got all the credit because in his journals he had taken such detailed notes as his job was required that allowed the likes of Edwin James and anyone else who got up to the top of Pikes Peak back then get to the top. So they credited it and named it after Pike. Pike actually died in the War of 1812, and in his journals he had named the peak the grandest peak. He thought it was about 18,000 feet in height, and he never thought it would be surmountable. Boy, was he wrong. So if you're quite curious like I am, when I first started working here at the COG Railway, I was wondering what makes Pikes Peak so popular? Why is it so famous, being that it is only the 30th highest peak in Colorado? We actually have 53 14ers, as we say here in the state. That means we have 53 53 mountain peaks that reach over 14,000 feet in elevation. So what is it? What's the draw to Pikes Peak? So in my studies of the COG Railway and the likes of Zeb and Pike, it really occurred to me that you really got to take yourself all the way back to the old frontier days when everyone was migrating west from the eastern plains out there. So picture this. You're on a prairie-driven wagon. Click and clack, click and clack, click and clack. For about 2 weeks straight, you've seen the top of Pikes Peak from out there in the eastern plains of Kansas, Oklahoma, even parts of, maybe even some parts of Nebraska up there. And when you finally got to the foothills there, you wanted to get to the top of this peak right here to have an overlook. You wanted to see what lays on the other side of this mountain range. As we all know, it's more mountains, but they didn't know. And that was the instant draw and the instant attraction to Pikes Peak. And by word of mouth, that's how we become America's favorite mountain. So if you can make out that rock formation down through the trees on the 3-seat side, that rock formation, that right there could possibly have been the last encampment where Pike and his regiment camped out at before they had to turn around and go back. They actually ended up in the Arkansas Valley camping, their camp ended up over there. But the park rangers though, they have dubbed that the Lion's Den. It's been noted that they've spotted mountain lions sunbathing on them rocks down there. Also though, it's been noted that the mountain lions has reported spotting park rangers sunbathing on the rocks as well.
Okay, that'll agree.
Alright, I know some of these views coming up are spectacular, and you know, I know on the 2-seat side sometimes I feel like you're getting cheated out a little bit. So if you need to stand up and take pictures or take videos, be my guest. All I ask is do not just be walking up and down this middle aisle right here.
Go.
It's not.
You're not using your cell phone.
What? Look at that view of the dirt and a tree. Wow, look at that. That is awesome. If you squint, you can see Rhode Island.
I think that's the direction for that.
So in 1893, an English professor from Massachusetts by the name of Catherine Lee Bates, she summoned the top of Pikes Peak on a prairie-driven wagon that read Pikes Peak or Bust. We believe views like this coming up on our 3-seat side, what may have inspired her to write the poem, America the Beautiful, which was later set to a sheet of music called Materna, and it was runner-up to our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner.
Look at that view.
Road. Part of the mountain we like to call it Inspiration Point. What actually gives us that Purple Mountain Majesty look though is the sun reflecting off of the red rocks and red gravel here on the mountain. And evidence of that is if you take a look on the 3-seat side, a little north over there to that other mountain range over there, you see how it's more reddish than over there? Well, that's what a burn scar looks like. That was the 2016 Waldo Canyon fire. It's still recovering from that fire right there, but you see the red rocks and gravel here on the mountain. And if you have a really good keen vision, if you look out towards the horizon out there, you see those white turbines way out there? That's about 20 miles from Colorado and Kansas border.
I don't even see it.
Yeah, they're out there. There's about 150 of them out there, in fact. You might be wondering what makes the COG Railway so special. So if you happen to notice the tracks down at the depot, we have 3 sets of them. So it's the tracks in the middle that have the gear teeth things looking on it. That's known as the rack rails. This rack rail that meshes in with these cog wheels underneath these trains, that's going to give us all the braking force and all the driving force that we need to get up and down these 25% grade hills such as we're on right now. A standard railroad can only get up about a 4% grade.
Oh, there's a lake right up here at the mountain.
There's 2 other railways running in North America today. One actually goes down a copper mine shaft in Quincy, Michigan. The other one goes up Mount Washington in New Hampshire. But it's here in Colorado that we go up the highest, and we go up the farthest. That makes us the best. The Broadmoor, Manitou, Pikes Peak COG Railway. Okay, if you're not taking any pictures in the middle aisle, please sit in the seat. Thank you.
Yeah.
Might happen to notice that body of water out there on the 3-seat side. Well, that is known as Lake Moraine.
Right
Lake
there.
Moraine is the only natural occurring lake here on this side of the mountain there. I was placed there with the last glacier and the last ice age. You might say to me, well, Brian, that don't look very naturally made to me. Well, several years back, the city of Colorado Springs decided to dam up the shores and reinforce its banks so that it can retain a little more water. But millions of dollars later, though, and much to their dismay, they found a mud bog at the bottom of this lake. So what that means, that this lake's going to retain about the same amount of water it always has.
Oh.
Might happen to notice some of these trees up here look a little different as well. That's because we're looking at bristlecone pine trees right now. These trees, in fact, have lived to be thousands of years old. The ones we're looking at right now is about 100 to 200 years old. They're still young babies. Might look like they're growing up at an angle, but remember, it's us who's still going up at the angle. And if my memory serves me correctly, I believe I remember hearing something in the news about a bristlecone pine tree somewhere in California they discovered, and they was dating it between 4,000 and 5,000 years old.
Wow.
That's pretty old, but it's not surprising because it takes a special type of tree or species of tree to be able to grow up at this elevation. Because I could promise you, I've lived here in the Pikes Peak region all my life, and there's about an inch, maybe an inch and a half of topsoil. And then right underneath that, it's all Pikes Peak granite. Trust me, I went through 2 pickaxes trying to dig a hole one time. So it did, you know, so their root system's got to grow deep and strong in order for them to survive. And then for the harsh elements and conditions that is presented up here in the outer world, that's another whole barrier they have to climb. So I can see how a bristlecone pine tree could live to be that long, because they are a special breed of trees for sure. Well, you might have started noticing the lack of trees around here. That's because we're approaching tree line, or what is known as timber line. That means we're about 11,500 feet in elevation right now. Some of the critters I like to run around here above tree line, well, the Arctic raven would be the blackbird you see flying around here. Also, Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep and elk like to climb up to this elevation. And then just about a month ago, we had the awakening of these cute little whistling yellow belly marmots. And they're a marmot, and they've been sleeping in a deep hibernation sleep for the past 7 months now. So now they're waking up, and you're gonna see them running around the crates of these rocks up there. And then we have cute little pikers as well. They look like a chipmunk, but maybe just a little bit smaller. And these whistling yellow belly marmots, they look like a beaver, maybe a little bit smaller with a round tail. So if you see any little furry things running around here, that's what it is, the whistling yellow belly marmot. might see one, you might see 10, you might see 100 of them. There's thousands of them up there.
There's that lake he was talking about.
So if you take a look out on the 3C side, the mountain directly across from us, that is known as Mount Amalgrave. We like to call that the calendar mountain though. That's because that mountain is exactly 12,365 feet in height.
Oh, that's
See
fun.
that U shape right there on the mountain? That's what a tree line looks like. And right below that tree line, that dirt road, yes, that's
Look at the
part of
bird.
that 60-mile
Jumping
private
along the
drive in
track.
Lexington Park there.
He's like, no, don't chase me out of there.
So once we go above tree line, this is where we lose our thermostat and our windbreak. So you might feel the temperatures drop just slightly up here, and we're going to start feeling different breezes and gusts of wind as we approach closer up to the summit. So coming up on our 3C side is going to be our oldest tree on the mountain. And yes, it is a bristlecone pine tree. It's been dated to be 2,200 years old. It's going to be about halfway down the mountain. It's going to look like it has a twisted looking trunk to it. The trunk part looks like it's dead.
Oh yeah, right
It's
there.
got green light pine needles right in the middle of it. So car number one's almost in front of it now. It's about halfway down the mountain. It's got a twisted looking trunk.
That is insane.
The trunk part looks like it's dead. And now it's coming up in car number two.
Oh yeah, you definitely feel the temperature change now.
It's directly in front of me now here in car two. All right, car number three, get ready for it. It's coming your way. It has a twisted looking trunk. Trunk part looks like it's dead, but it has green light pine needles around the middle of it. It's about halfway down the mountain there. It's right in front row center. Can't miss it.
That is insane.
All right, there you go. Well, it's quite common for winds to reach speeds over 100 miles an hour up here on top of Pikes Peak. In fact, 2 years ago, we had wind speeds recorded up to 188 miles an hour before I broke our animal armor. Not to worry, these trains, they can withstand about a 60 mile an hour sustained wind. If that makes you feel any better. All right, so actually it's going to be up here. So from on the 3C side down somewhere on the bottom of this hill right here, I lost one of my shovels this past winter season. I was out there helping to clear out these tracks, and I lost my shovel. It's a little short one with the handle.
Like the
on it.
breeze.
I haven't been able to spot it yet, but I tell you what, I know it's down there because I watched it fall down. I was so tempted. I'll tell you what, if I was a little younger, I would have went for it. I would have jumped for it head first. In fact, that would have been fun because it was all straight snow over here when I was gonna go for it. But then the adult in me told me not to do it. You know, so I did it. I didn't do it. I didn't want to get hurt because that probably would have been a hard stop when you're going head down first anyway. But there is a shovel down there, and then, well, I guess the main point is that I have found a newfound admiration for our men and women who work out here tirelessly and endlessly on these tracks to keep them clear for us so we can get up and down the mountain any time of the year. So we are open all year round. In fact, our heaviest snow came to us here late April. Late April. In fact, it was 2 days before Memorial Weekend that we had these tracks all the way cleared up to the summit to get our passengers up there this year. But it was a hard lesson learned, and I'm pretty sure next year will be a little easier. This year was our first year we actually stayed open all year round. So we are now reaching part of the mountain that we like to call Windy Point, and for good reason too, because we're about to find out how windy it really is up here. My guess is, looking at the wind chill, and the temperature this morning, they said it was 49 degrees up here already, but it was like 20 degrees with the wind chill. So that tells me it's probably going to be pretty windy up there. So we're about to find out right now. So if it gets too windy in here for you folks, feel free to push up your windows. If you happen to see your neighbor's lips turning purple, please do them a courtesy.
Oh.
kind of got that Kate's Cove vibe, Smoky
All right,
Mountains.
so coming up on our two-seat side, that
A little bit.
building structure right there, that's the old section crew house. In fact, the boss and the family used to live up here. The section crew would work up here all year round.
Right here.
Luckily for them, though, they get to go home every night to their wonderful families. It may look like this building structure is at an angle, but it's perfectly level on the side, folks. It's us who's been going up at the angle. In fact, I heard they had a little baby girl there one time, and they named her Eileen. All right, maybe they didn't have a little baby girl there one time, and maybe they didn't name her Eileen. But did I get your attention? Well, if I didn't, I need your attention now. So we're about 15 minutes from the summit. So I need everyone to take out your watches or your phones, whatever you use to tell time with. So my watch, it says it's about 10:12.
Your watch is
So we're gonna go off of my watch.
Mine's
Because the conductor's
10:07.
watch is never wrong. That means we're gonna be leaving the Summit House precisely and exactly at 11:20 back down to Manitou. Okay? So if you show up at my doors at 11:21, what's that gonna make you? No, it's gonna make you a hiker.
Yeah.
I know I say it in a joking way, but I'm really serious about this, folks. Please do not be late because we are on a strict time schedule and we do not wait for no man, no woman, no family. That's my orders. I have to do it. I don't want to do it, but I've done it. I do it almost. 2 or 3 people get left behind almost every train. You know, I'm lucky and happy if I can catch a train with everybody coming back on board on time. So I'll give you a 10-minute courtesy announcement. Prior to, if you happen to be in the Summit House, if you happen to be out on the observation deck and you hear 3 short blasts of the horn, that means come back to the train. You have 10 minutes before we're on our way, okay? Also, remember, no outside food and drink is permitted on the train. I know you're going to be tempted to come back with some donuts or some hot cocoa for the kids. Or what have you. A spoiler alert, the donuts don't deflate anymore. They went to a new recipe since they changed the Summit Houses. And also, there's no trash cans on board or on the observation deck. So anything you buy up there to consume, just consume them up there in the Summit House and throw it away before you come back to the train. All right, and I'm just going to let you know right now, there's a highway that goes up to the top of Pikes Peak, so there's going to be other visitors up there visiting. So those lines for a hot cocoa could be quite long. So handle your business first. Make sure you use the restrooms because it's an hour and 10 minutes back down. All right. Also, get your pictures in. You know, go check out what you came up there to do before you jump in line because you can spend the whole time up there just waiting in line for a cup of coffee. In fact, from my understanding,
Going down through Windy Point.
And here comes the train.
my microphone needs to be fixed. All right, here comes our other train. So if I can have everybody find their seats for me. Once I have everyone seated, though, we can begin our journey up there. So. It's going to reach all the way down to Patagonia, Argentina. What makes the Continental Divide so special, though?
Couple of deer right here.
Waterways. All the waters from the east. Mighty Mississippi River. Oh, there's some wildlife right here on the track up there. Yeah, right there. So those all the waters from on the eastern
Right there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see them. They're out there ways.
Gulf of Mexico, and then all the water flowing off the western slopes over there is going to go down to the Pacific Ocean. So all the water flowing off of this mountain here is going to eventually end up in the mighty Mississippi River and then down to the Gulf of Mexico. Alright, so we are now approaching part of the mountain that we like to call the saddle. And here at the saddle, you're able to take a look from the east and from the west. Just for a brief moment, and for those of you on the 2-seat side, you might be able to get a quick glance of Colorado Springs down there on the bottom of this mountain there.
Look at that track going up. That is insane.
All right.
See the back end of the train.
From the great state of Texas. Texas, sir? Oh, well, let's hear it for Texas. Woo! Texas is always represented. That's for sure. I wanted to ask a question though. Is it true that everything in Texas is bigger and better?
Yes.
Yeah. But here in Colorado, take a look out on the 2-seat side. It's what we like to call gravel.
A little bit of gravel.
And then if you take a look out on the 3-seat side, you can probably see a lot better range of the Continental Divide. Those are actually the San Juan Mountains and the Sandy Gray Crystal Mountain ranges right there. And let's see if we can see, you can sometimes spot the Spanish Peaks over here at the very end of them. I think it's very good. I don't think I can spot them, but maybe you can. That would be the two tallest mountain peaks. I guess more towards
There's a lake down there.
the east there. In the west.
Where?
The collegiate peaks are right up there, right in front of this mountain, both those mountain ranges. So we're about like 250 miles from the Continental Divide. It takes about a good 2 hours from Colorado Springs to get there. And the Continental Divide usually is around about 12,000 some feet in elevation once you get to the summit of those, some of those passes that go across there. And yes, that's still that part of that original carriage route right down there on the 3-seat side.
Oh yeah, look at that. Very cool.
So I do have a tragic story for you though. It actually involves our section crew. So way back in the day when they was laying down these tracks, they used to use donkeys as their manual labor. So one donkey in particular though got really close to the section crew. I heard that this donkey would do shots with the fellows after work.
Oh, there's a marmot.
So they went ahead and gave this donkey
Sorry
a
about that.
name to Mr. Man. Unfortunately, though, for
Right
Mr.
there,
Man,
look at the marmot.
bringing up a set of explosives,
Going down the
they
mountain.
inadvertently went,
Looks like beaver.
blew him up. I heard he had blue eyes. One flew this way, one flew that way. Terrible.
There's some snow too, if you see.
The fact they picked up his pieces and gave him a proper burial with shots and all. So, down by the tracks coming up on our 2-seat sides, you're going to see a little grave with the wooden cross, and then it has a old head of a spike, a pickaxe on this cross. That is Mr. Mann's grave, and I just remember his story because of the life that he gave for the COG Railway. Poor Mr. Mann. The approaching us, car number 1 is already past it, so here it comes in car number 2. So anyways, on the lighter note, if you take a look out on the 3-seat side, see that mountain of dirt over there that looks like it's been sifted through or excavated on?
A little bit of snow.
Maybe it looks like, I don't know, Egyptian towers over there. Well, that is part of the Cripple Creek and Victor gold mine. So gold was discovered there in the 1800s. In fact, they used to smuggle it out in the middle of the night when they discovered it so that no one would know. This gold mine has become, it was when I read it in
snow
school,
right here too.
the 3rd most lucrative gold mine in the world. It is still the 3rd most lucrative gold mine in the world today because I hear they still produce almost $1 million worth of gold coming out of it almost each and every day today. Way off his mark. But
So there's some vehicles coming up right now.
8 minutes and 53 seconds to the top. And he was actually driving this year, he was driving a Ford F-150 Lightning truck, electric Lightning truck. So he definitely has this mountain's number. He's had been rewarded King of the Hill for the 5th time in his lifetime there. So he's got this mountain's number for sure. All right, real quickly before we get to the summit here, what time are we returning back down to Manitou Springs?
Look at that.
10:20, that's right. And show up at 10:21, what's that going to make you? That's right, it's going to make you a hiker. I think you got that, but so please don't be that guy or that woman or that family that did that behind. So if you want to come back to the train sooner rather than later, you may do so. I'm going to leave these doors open for you.
Cool.
So if you want to get in and the doors are shut, because we're not going to leave them figuratively open,
Wow.
but literally open, I mean. But if you want to get in, just hit the little button on the outside, the little yellow button on the outside.
So we made it up here to Pikes Peak. I'm gonna be honest, it's like you have sea legs, because again you're at 14,000
I don't know.
feet
I'm
above the
feeling
sea level.
okay. I kept waiting to
I feel weird, but not too over weird.
watch the edge there, see if you can
But yeah, it's nice up here, I tell you that. It's got a nice little breeze. So
That's not freezing.
no, not freezing at all. There's the map. And we're gonna go to the building up over here. So and then work our way back over here because there's an abundance of people here. So look at that view. And may get icy conditions.
Right behind me.
Pikes Peak Summit Visitor Center. Oh, wow. Let's go in here real quick. So 14,115 feet. And look who I found in the corner over there. Sasquatch himself. And I found a lapel pin, which is really cool.
Thank you for
Mr. Sasquatch himself. How you doing there, sir? I do agree it is hard to breathe up here. Let's look around real quick, because we got like 15 minutes. They give us a 40-minute stop up here before we move on. I'm gonna get that. So this is really cool too. I mean, that is a toss up. This one. I think I like this one. So, alright guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like just a brief walkthrough, because we got to split up our time, because I want to do some 360 filming too, and go from there. So, oh, look who I found. Mrs. Gwen.
Oh, I was gonna point that shot glass out too.
I like that.
I thought you would like that.
So I will tell you, coming up here, it is not for the faint of heart. Being 14,000 plus feet above sea level, like, you got to take your time, because holy cow. And look at that marmot right there. He's right there hiding by that rock. Look at that. There goes the train up to Pikes Peak here.